Today we're going to answer a close read question about the story that we read. So think about what people have discovered when searching for a giant squid, Bigfoot, mermaids, or other creatures. What can we conclude about why it's important to study things we don't understand? So we're going to answer the response in at least 3 to 5 sentences. Our paragraph should include turning the question into a statement, which is already done for you. It's important to study things we don't understand because support your evidence with textual evidence, which means you're going to need to actually go back to the story to look up the sentences that are going to help prove your story or your statement. And then you're going to explain how your evidence supports your answer or your response to the question. So it's important to study things we don't understand because otherwise we would have a small understanding of the world. So I'm going to think back to when the story talked about marine biologist O'Shea. So O'Shea was really invested in these animals. So let's actually look back here in the story. So it says here that O'Shea also, over the years, O'Shea managed to unlock a few of the many mysteries surrounding these creatures. For one thing, squids are indeed giant. They can weigh up to 1,000 pounds and grow to be almost 60 feet long. O'Shea also knows why giant squids are so hard to find. They live thousands of feet below the surface of the ocean, far deeper than any human can go. They have enormous eyes larger than those of an animal, which enable it to flee at the first sign of trouble. And thanks to their high developed nerves, they can react in an instant during darting away from a net or camera. So there was a lot of information in there that really helps prove my statement that we would have a small understanding if we didn't go out there and try to study things that we didn't know. So I'm going to use the sentence, they live thousands of feet below the surface of the ocean, far deeper than any human can go. So in the story, remember we always start like this, in the story, monsters of the deep, marine biologist O'Shea discovers, make sure I write exactly what it says, they live thousands of feet below the surface of the ocean, far deeper than any human can go. This sentence shows that if marine biologists didn't study giant squids, we wouldn't understand why they are so hard to find. Because without him studying this, we would have never known that they live so far below the surface, which is why we haven't actually been able to capture one in real life. The text also states, I'm going to read the next section of this because I think it also helps prove my answer. The text also states that O'Shea has never come close to capturing a giant squid in 2001 when he caught 17 babies. Each was the size of a grasshopper. His plan was to raise them in captivity. By the time they reached shore, all the babies were dead. Crying, O'Shea pulled the corpses out of the tank, keeping them in. He later learned that the tank was made of a material that is toxic to the squid. So again, so he later learned that the tank was made out of a material that was toxic to the squid. Again, this proves that without marine biologists dedicating time to studying animals we don't know, we wouldn't have any understanding of them. Okay, so I finished off with saying here that this proves that without marine biologists dedicating time to studying these animals that we don't know, we wouldn't have a better understanding of the world, which would mean it'd keep our understanding of the world really, really small. So without these scientists, we wouldn't know much about the animals of the world in general, because they are the ones that are taking the time to study things that we don't know so that we all have a better understanding of the world that we live in. And that is the close reading question today. Make sure that you are turning this statement into a question. You're using evidence and you're explaining your evidence in at least 3 to 5 sentences.